Hello and welcome back everyone to this weekly update on the financial market. Like every time I will cover with you these four main assets: S&P 500, US oil, gold and Bitcoin. And what follow afterwards are my single stocks watch list, mainly the red flagged ones because that are the ones I'm currently in a trade. Let's start directly in with the S&P 500 index on the weekly time frame and then work down to the lower ones. Yeah, the S&P 500 index on the weekly time frame, you can see we are still in an uptrend, even if this looks like exhaustion a little bit, or we are building a base at an all-time high level. And if we break the one to the upper side, that would be extremely bullish for a last major stretch to the upper side. Let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame. Here you can see it. We have the short-term daily white solid uptrend line broken to the downside, but it's so choppy price action near the all-time high that it's very difficult to draw such an uptrending trend line with this kind of price development. But what I can see and definitely tell is that we have mainly higher highs and higher lows, even if that got here a little bit violated, but only slightly. Like you can see, I have here a trading setup. I was talking a couple of weeks ago already where I would have entered here a trade if I would have had free capacity in my account balance for an additional trade. And yeah, so far a little bit in a loss with this trade. Stop loss is placed below this major low here inside this choppy range. So far that has been holding well. Here we have seen a dip. Now a new green candle on Friday, closing a bit more bullish than it seemed a couple of days before. If we can make it above this daily support and resistance zone again and make a new all-time high, I think the way is open and clear for new all-time highs and a bit more significant than we have seen it here in the past. But if we turn and take out these couple of lows here that have been holding, then I think we will change direction of the main trend and probably correct a couple of percentages to the downside. I think the first target would be here the 200 moving average with the major low of this weekly dip, and afterwards the 6,200 US dollar mark of the first Fibonacci retracement level in combination with this weekly support zone. So these are the two scenarios. I hope you can work with that. And let's continue with US oil. US oil also starting out at a weekly time frame. You can see an red monthly downtrend line. After breaking that one to the upper side, we moved into this, you could argue to see here an A, B, C correction with point C here currently being the major low. We are still below this orange weekly downtrend line, and until that is not broken, I'm not so major bullish for that. Could be a short-term bull push on a lower time frame before continuing the overall downtrend. That's still the dominant trend for oil, but it looks positive on the lower time frames that maybe this time we can break finally above this downtrend and continue to the upper side. If we switch to the daily time frame, you can see the daily downtrend got broken with a MACD divergence to the upper side. You've seen a change from lower lows and lower highs to higher lows and higher highs. And I also was entering here a fictive trade like at the S&P 500 index. Stop loss was below the last major low, entry above a new high, and then we have seen the continuation of that short-term trend to the upside. I was taking virtually 50% of the position from the table once we made here the risk as profit. So the trade is now risk-free. Stop loss still stays below the $55 range per barrel. And yeah, we will see if we make it through now and continue this uptrend. And then I would take my stop loss and trail it further to the upper side. But yeah, so far we can still test this weekly downtrend and reverse again and continue lower, but $55 per barrel these days is pretty cheap, so you have there also production costs, etc. And yeah, the producers have to earn at least some money to continue producing, or yeah, they will continue producing even if we dip below that, but it can't stay forever there. Yes, next on the list we have gold. Gold at the weekly time frame. Yeah, what a move, what a volume, crazy times, and yeah, like a starship to the upper side, and yeah, higher highs followed by higher lows. So the weekly uptrend is still intact, perfectly fine. That would change once we fall below $3,955 per ounce. We are far away from that, even with this massive dip from the all-time high at nearly $6,000 per ounce. Crazy. Yeah, but I think it has to cool off a bit. I think this was now the major blow off top, let's say it like that. We have to correct in my view. Daily time frame, also the daily uptrend is still intact. We bounced at this one to the upper side again, and now a little bit sideways consolidating here. Price was holding at the 50 EMA and this daily support zone. But we have seen way more selling pressure than buying pressure. So yeah, I think after a heavy correction, you always see a move again to the upper side before then rolling over. That would be only normal after such a price development, and nothing bearish at all in my view, at least long term. We drop to the 4-hour time frame, can't really see so much more. The choppy range a bit, but nothing really decisive here. I wouldn't also probably not short this one here, because the swings are so volatile that this potential stop loss is always pretty far away in my opinion. Yeah, I will have an eye on it, but I will not take action on it. Then let's continue with Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin had also a couple of crazy volatile moves. We have seen one of the hugest declines in history. We have seen in 3 weeks and 37% decline, and even only the last week was 24% of that. Crazy. But so far we've seen at the moment correction to the upper side after this huge sell-off. We nearly touched the 200 moving average here, and that was a level which is often together with the low of the 4-year cycle. Like you can see, it never was the worst idea to buy at the 200 moving average, at least if you're a long-term investor or a cycle standpoint investor. So yeah, I told you that I was selling some speculative holdings on physical Bitcoin here, and yeah, I managed to buy at 60.61 a couple of these back, not completely, because I think we will see a bit more extended build out of this yeah, low, because the time frame, the decline was way too fast. I think we have to spend a couple of more months probably in these lower ranges, exhaustion ranges, like you can see here, sideways consolidating. So we will have enough time to deploy some capital there and lower prices for the long-term investments. And yeah, like I said in prior videos also, this monthly uptrend line in combination with the prior high of the prior cycle, this is a good range, I would say, to broaden it out between 62 and maybe 48. $1,000 to buy some Bitcoin. In my opinion, I only tell you what I am planning to do, not what you have to do. Make decisions by yourself. On trading standpoint, yeah, we are officially went from an uptrend into a downtrend. We're taking out the prior low here. With that, we have a reverse head and shoulders position falling to the, well, we have a head and shoulders position, a bearish one. That speaks not only for declining prices. Let's see how far it will go. On the daily time frame, you can see we are also here in an intake downtrend. Here we have seen the selling pressure low. Now a snapback to the upper side, testing this monthly support and resistance zone. And I think we will, yeah, I don't know, see a movement maybe like this. And so on. Could be, I could imagine that. Let's see how it develops. That would be already in August, and the correction could be over, but maybe also here a little bit some more sideways price action before then recovering from, yeah, then 200, 300, 350 days of declining prices. But at the moment, I don't see any need to trade here on any way Bitcoin. Tell me in the comments if you have a nice trading idea for Bitcoin. Let's continue with the single stocks with JBL. JBL on the daily time frame, long-term uptrend. We had sideways consolidation on the all-time high level. Even if we have printed lower lows and lower highs, it was perfectly holding at the 200 moving average and broke with higher highs and higher lows out of the range. I entered a long position, stop loss below a significant low inside the range and below this daily uptrend line. We have seen then a continuation of higher highs and higher lows, and now on Friday we have seen a jump to the upper side to a new all-time high, and I hope that with this bullish price gap we will continue into that direction, into my first take profit area where I would sell 50% of the position to take the trade risk free. And then if it continues to trail up, my stop loss. Let's continue with Amphenol. Here we have a loss, sadly. Amphenol Corporation was also an uptrending stock, or still is. We have had here a nice uptrend, daily uptrend line, sideways consolidation on the all-time high level, then a clean break above this range. I entered long, stop loss below the last swing low inside range. Looked good at the beginning, nearly was taking out my first take profit level, but then collapsed to the downside with a gap here and then continued this gap and was taking out my stop loss here. Lost 1% of my account size, and yeah, that was a calculated risk. Even if that one was a stock or a setup I had high expectations in, but that happens sometimes. Seems like we are now bouncing from this daily support zone. Maybe stop loss would have been better below the complete range, but then risk reward ratio or my first take profit target would have been farther away. So yeah, afterwards you're always wiser. But I have a close eye on these lost stocks, even weeks and months afterwards, to see how they would have developed, what I have would made better with my trading setup. So we'll update you sooner or later also on that one. But for the moment I'm out, and I'm expecting that because the daily uptrend is broken, we maybe see a bounce here and roll over and continue lower, or we stay in the range. That was the one major support that was necessary to continue this overall uptrend. We will see. Next on the list, the uranium ETF. The uranium ETF coming out of a sideways range into an uptrend, daily uptrend, now intact, but first it wasn't. We have seen a downtrend, then a break of the downtrend with the higher low, and then with the higher high I entered long, stop loss below the higher low, and was also already at the prior all-time high, taking 50% of the position from the table once I made my risk as profit. So the trade is now risk-free. We collapsed afterwards and still in a small paper profit here. Yeah, but I hope that's just a normal move inside this continuation of the uptrend, and this here is hopefully not a double top scenario where we will roll over afterwards, but we will see. So far so good. I think the fundamentals for uranium are still not so bad. Next on the list, Novo Nordisk. Yeah, Novo Nordisk. Not so great news. We had the broken weekly downward line to the upper side. Finally, an higher high, not a higher low, to be honest. The low was lower, but we had a bullish MACD divergence. We was taking out the prior high here, making the first higher high, also getting above the 200 moving average, and then bad numbers came in, or I think the CEO said the expectations for 2026 are not that great than expected, and yeah, then the stock collapsed to the downside. We haven't seen a new low. That's the only positive thing I can say here, but we have gone below this major weekly support zone, have fallen below that, correcting at the moment to the upper side. Yeah, but there's a high chance that this stop loss is also lost here, and then we will continue in the next couple of days and weeks lower, or I'm lucky as hell and we will continue to the upside after bad news is processed, and yeah, maybe the stock is still so cheap that buyers are continuing buying it. Let's see. I made a plan. I will keep that plan. Let's continue with 11th Health. Yeah, 11th Health long-term uptrend, like you can see, even if the latest part of this uptrend looks more like a downtrend, because it is one. We have lower lows and lower highs. We had a weekly downtrend line, all supported by the 200 moving average. But then we have seen finally the breakout in advance and higher low, then a higher high, and here I decided to get long in this stock. Stop loss was placed below the higher low. Risk reward ratio 1:1 to take 50% from the table once the first take profit target is reached. And yeah, all the major moving averages came together and supported that idea. So that was pretty positive. Then also here bad news, ones from the government, and yeah, positive earnings from the company, but yeah, they will have struggle this year for sure. And yeah, so we neared pretty much the stop loss level, then bounced back. Is this daily secondary uptrend still intact? I don't know. Looks not that worse, but yeah, oftentimes after negative earnings, price tend to go further into the direction of the gap. We will see. At the moment, still happy somehow with the price action, because I've seen here green numbers after we tested this daily uptrend again. So maybe we'll continue anyway to the upside. That would be pretty nice for the trade, because I think the setup and the uptrend and the cheap valuation numbers for the company are speaking for that trade. So yeah, we will see. Next, Rolls-Royce Holdings. Rolls-Royce Holdings daily time frame, nice uptrend, daily uptrend intact. We had here an ABC correction at the all-time high level, and then we reclaimed first this short-term downtrend and then also made a new all-time high. That was the moment I got long in the stock and placed my stop loss below the daily uptrend line. And yeah, we have here the first corrective move. Hopefully it seems like at least we will find a bottom. now here and continue then hopefully to the upper side into my first take profit, taking 50% from the position from the table. Another defense stock, Heiko, looking a bit worse. Here, like you can see, Heiko Corporation daily time frame, also a defense stock, is nicely uptrending. Daily uptrend is still intact. We had also here sideways consolidation at the all-time high level. We had a small breakout, a retest, and the final break to new all-time highs. I placed my stop loss below this corrective move inside the range, aiming for 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Also here, nearly take profit was taken, but then reversed pretty heavily into this range again. Yeah, it was a matter of sense that my stop loss wasn't triggered here. And then afterwards on Friday we have seen a smaller jump to the upper side again. I hope we will now build a base with not too much volatility to the downside and continue again higher so that the uptrend stays intact here. But it's a close thing. I will see that next coming week here, if I'm lucky or not. Yeah, then let's continue with the DAX ETF. Yeah, the DAX ETF is still looking good. German stocks are trending to the upper side. Weekly uptrend intact. On the all-time high level, we had a long-lasting sideways consolidation with a small fake out to the downside. Afterwards, we came up again and broke through this sideways consolidation to the upper side. I entered long, stop loss placed below the lowest point of the low inside the range, not the fake out. And yeah, we have seen now the first move back inside the range, the first correction. It seems like we're building out a base here to then continue to the upper side again and hopefully into the direction of my first take profit order here for taking the trade risk free. All major moving average are supporting at the moment the idea, so pretty happy with this trade. Then we have also a trade where I'm happy with, and that's Comfort Systems. Here, Comfort Systems USA, stable uptrend, I would say, daily intact uptrend. We had also here a sideways consolidation on the all-time high level, but still trending higher highs and higher lows, so also bullish. Then we had the first breakout, corrective move, and then taking also that out to the upper side. Here I was then sure that I want to get into this trade. Stop loss placed below the daily uptrend and the last major move inside the range. And yeah, so far so well. We had the first corrective move nearing the entry level, and then from there on we reversed and now nearing the first take profit target where I would like to sell 50% of the position here. And yeah, so far that looks well. That could happen on Monday, hopefully, if the market overall starts positive and breaks then through that level, taking 50% from the table. With that, then the trade was risk-free, and in the future, with future bullish price action, I would like to trail then my stop loss higher and ride the trend higher together. Then we have a new trade. I was telling you that I have a couple of stocks here, the Bechtel AG and the Solaris Energy Infrastructure AG Inc. on my watch list with an open order, but they have been both pretty negative the last week. The broad market was falling, and then they have been also falling, so that was not the trade. I decided instead for a company that was trading higher while the overall market was falling, so relative strength. And yeah, that was Fastenal. Fastenal company on the daily time frame, like you can see, an stable uptrending stocks. Yes, the swings are high, but yeah, I think calculated. And yeah, higher highs followed by higher lows. We have seen recently a pullback to this weekly uptrend line. We have seen a higher low and then a higher high, then breaking also above the 200 moving average. So all pretty bullish. We have seen the test of this daily downtrend line getting respected, pulling down, breaking then above the downtrend and taking out the pullback to the upper side. So a higher high. With that, I entered a long trade, stop loss placed below the higher low of this swing, aiming for risk reward ratio again of 1:1 for the first partial take profit taking, placed at the all-time high of this stock. So far, the price moved directly into my expected or hoped position direction. At the moment, 50% in profit with this position, and I hope that we will see probably a decline because that was pretty steep, this rise, but then over the time get to my take profit. Stop loss I think is well secured if we fall below this daily support zone and this weekly uptrend, then we will probably continue lower and then the trade is invalid. Then a stock I have in an open order in because I lost Amphenol. I got some risk and capital free again, and I'm planning probably to put it into Aflac Incorporation. Yeah, here you have it, Aflac Corporation, nice uptrending stock. We had a large, long-lasting sideways consolidation on the upper level of this stock near the all-time high territory. First, we have seen declining price channel. That one got then broken to the upper side, also sideways consolidating here together with the 200 moving average giving some support. Then finally we have seen a nice push on a red day in the S&P 500 index to the upper side with the numbers have been mixed, I would say, but market participants wanted this stock and bought it and had a nice clean break above the prior all-time high level, leaving the sideways consolidation hopefully behind. And yeah, I was not directly buying at that day because I had the fear that maybe this green candle get reversed after interpretation of these numbers or something like that. A little bit was the case on Friday, but maybe that's normally a calmer stock. A lot of market participants probably was taking some profits from the table after such a nice move. How much was it that day? Yeah, nearly 6-7% for not so volatile stock. Yeah, and we reversed here. I placed now my limit order, buy stop limit order at the top or slightly above this green candle to be sure that the market is another time saying yes, we want this breakout, confirm it again, and then I would take a long position here with stop loss below this sideways range after the breakout of this declining price channel. That's the idea. Risking again 1% of my account balance, and the first take profit would then be at once I make my risk as profit. So then here the green flag ones you can look for yourself if you want to. And they are also quite interesting. And I think that was it all for this weekly update on the financial markets. We will next time have again a look at my portfolio log. Not this time. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week ahead. Comment in the comment section if you liked my content, and till then, till next week, bye bye.